FFE. Okay. So then you're going to have AA, BB, colon, colon. Then you have CC, FF. Then you're going to have another colon. Then you have the other part, which is FE. Then you have the DD. And so on. Then you have another colon. Then you have the F. Okay, I guess I messed up. So you insert this one in the middle of the MAC address because your MAC address usually is 48 bits. So to complete the IPv6 address for the host portion has to be 64. So that's why we have to add the FFE. Any question about this this part? Okay, let's see. Next one talks about deduplication. DAD. This is like a part of, we call it DAD. It's part of to prevent any duplicate addresses to the client. So it's not a mechanism for that. And that's what it say. That is really not required because 64-bit interface ID provide 18 quintillion possibility, which is basically because there's no duplicate of MAC addresses. So therefore, the chances to duplicate any address is slim. Okay. Now, the APC, the DHCP right here. Let's see some. Let's see. Okay. So it's the process, like remember on IPv4, we say DORA. So the client send the broadcast. That's in IPv4. They have the DORA, which is the client boots up, needs an IP address, they send broadcast. This is trying to discover if there's any DHCP server on the network. Then if there is a DHCP server on the network, the DHCP will respond with unicast to that specific host, and it's going to offer them an address. Now, sometimes you might have a multiple DHCP server on your network. So whoever sent first, then the client is going to request that address that the DHCP server offer it. And after that, the DHCP server is going to acknowledge that, and they're going to lease that address to it. Now, what is the situation in IPv6? Well, it is pretty much the same thing, but we don't have a broadcast like we mentioned last time. So instead sending broadcast, we send something called router solicitation. It's RS, router solicitation. And the router is going to send a message called router advertisements, which is RA. So the router is going to solicit to all DHCP servers. Now it depends if you configure stateless or stateful. And that's we need to understand that too. We mentioned earlier, what's the difference between the two? Stateless and stateful. Stateful means what? Means the DHCP server will handle everything. Okay? Stateless Well, the router is gonna assign an address, but the rest of, like for example, DNS server, TFTP server, and the rest of them will get it. The client will get it from a DHCP server. So then the server is gonna advertise like a unicast to the client, and the client is gonna request the information, and the server is gonna reply or acknowledge that. So all these conversation in UDP from the DHCP server. So, and this is the last one, server to client DHCP message, use UDP destination, port 546, while client to server DHCP v6 message, use UDP destination port 547. Okay, here's a question to you. What port number the client and the DHCP server, what port number they use from DHCP server to the client in IPv4? Yes, they remember? Ask question on the test. What number what?
67.
67. And from the client to the server is 68. So that's, we need to check that. We talked about the flags the other day. Now, how can I determine if the client or the DHCP server is stateless or stateful? It depends on the flag. Okay, so that means if it's A, that means it's stateless. If you need another optional, it's going to be 1. If not, it's going to be 0. And if this one is 0, then this is DHCP will handle. I mean, the router will handle it. If not, it has everything will be stateful, which is the on the DHCP server. Okay, so let's go configure. And that's how you manage it. You go to, for example, to put the flag, you go to the interface, IPv6, neighbor discovery right here, the ND, manage config flag. And this is where you set up all the flags to 0 or to 1 or whatever. Okay, let's see the configuration. We talked about this one. Configuration on this one. I guess that's what we need to do first. Okay, so let's see, packet tracer. Oh, we have this one here. Now, on this server, I created a stateful DHCP server right here. So if you go over here, that's what you create. A pool and have a prefix and all that stuff in here, and the service is enabled. So in this case, the client will get an IP address from the DHCP server. So because we have no router, and this is good example about stateful. Okay, so that's stateful. So everything's handled by the server right here. Now, if we need to configure the router, the first thing we need to do, let me disconnect this guy here. No, boom. All right. So now let's see. First of all, we need to determine what IP addresses we're gonna use. What's setup? So let's say we need to use I don't know, 2001 colon DB8 colon ACAD. I don't know. Colon /64. So in this case, I'm gonna use, that's the network I'm using. So I need to configure the gateway with something like this, with this configuration. So I'm gonna go, or yeah. So what we're gonna do is we come over here. To enable router, we need to go to config T. Then we need to go to the interface. But before we do anything, we need to enable IPv6 unicast routing. Because if you don't do this one first, nothing will work with IPv6. So we have to put IPv6 unicast routing. Then you enter, then you need to go to the interface, gigabit 0/0. Okay, so now I put the address IPv6 address, and I have to match it with this guy here. So I've put, you know what, this is too long. Copy and paste. Control V. Oh. I messed up. I put Control V, I put Control I'm supposed to put Control C. What was the address again? 2000.
2001 DB8 ACAD.
Yeah, you're right. DB8. ACAD. Colon.
/64.
Okay, let's see. Control C. Okay, now paste. I need to add something in here. So we have to put :1/64. So that's basically, we assign IP address with this. We say no shutdown to bring that interface up. Okay. So we do exit. And now I need to create some kind of pool for the for this LAN. So what we're supposed to do, we need to go use the IPv6 IPv6
Pool.
pool. So we're gonna say IPv6 DHCP. What's the option here? Well, that's the only option is pool. And we have to say the name of the pool Let's say IPv6. Pool. Now, if you want to do stateful, okay, in this case you do you just put the DNS if that router is stateful. But let's see. We're gonna do the IPv6 pool, and over here we go question mark and the address. You put the address, and need to put a range. Colon. We start with 9. Okay, and do we have to put /64? Oh, I don't like that. Let's see. Why don't I like the address? Address prefix. Label. Let's see. Have to put prefix delegation, I think. Let's see. We did it before. It works fine. Address. We put a network, or do we put an address? It said address. That's what I did last time. Let's see, IPv6 colon 9. I don't like that. Let's see, address question mark. IPv6 address allocation prefix. Maybe 64. Prefix. Let's see, prefix. Question mark. Ah, the prefix. Okay, so that's what we need to do. Okay. So address prefix, not just address. So what was the address? 20 colons. What? Start with 9/64. Okay, so now it's working. Now with this one also we can put the DNS server if you want. We can put just any number. If it's not on the subnet, we can put any number. Let's say I can put 2000 colon 20 colon 20 colon 20 10. Okay. So what else we can put? Domain name. We can put the domain name. Okay, so put domain name. Cisco.com. Okay. So we need to see if this is gonna work before we exit and save everything. So minimize this one here. I need to go to this one. This one is configured on a DHCP server because it was connected to this guy here. Now I disconnected. Now it was stateful. Now it's gonna get it from the router. So now we get the address from the router. We should change the IP address according to what I set up on the other one. And you can see this one FFE is inserted somewhere in the MAC address. So if I go over here and do the same thing, auto config, this is in the router. And now, let's see if this is gonna work. If I do For some reason, let me see if I put IPv6. IPv6 config. That's gonna work? Yeah. Okay, so if you put IP config/all, it's not gonna show you the IPv6 address. So you have to put IPv6 config to show you the IPv6 address for the client. You follow? So the reason why I'm doing this, I just want to see if they can ping each other's, and I want to type the whole address. So if I do this, copy, and if I go to this guy here and put ping, paste, and I can get reply. You see that? I can get reply for. So basically, I'm pinging from here to here. So I'm pinging. So, and also I can ping the default gateway. What's the default gateway? Well, I can go to over here and end it, WR. And what I need to do here, I just put Control V, or let's see, paste. Well, before I do paste, we need to ping. So now I'm pinging the host. So there's communication between all these machines and the default gateway. Okay. So the most important part first is to enable IPv6 unicast routing to enable communication with IPv6. Then you need to assign an address to the interface where is going to be the gateway, and then you can go and set up the pool. Now, let's see. If you want to do this one here. Now we can do an example over here without involving the router. Let's see. Was the state full? So all what you need to do with the state full, you go over here. What you need to do is, let's see. Control this one. Need to control this one. Doesn't matter. Two is enough, but it's okay. We'll put. Okay, so at this point, these machines has no IP addresses. So we need to configure it with DHCP. So I think the way you do it is you go to this guy here, go to services. And notice you have an option for DHCP v6. So that's the first thing you need to do over here. And you need to go and create a pool. Let's see, where are you going to do this? I think this is the pool right here. Let's see. create pool over here. Well, actually, you get so many options here. Let's see. Oh, okay, so you need to create pool first. Okay, so let's create the pool first. And we need to give it a name. So, PV6, PV6, whatever. Cool. Well, they ask you for DNS, so you're gonna put the DNS name. And you put, for example, 2001 DB8 CAD colon, and we'll put like 8. Okay, so the domain name, you can put whatever you want. You can put cisco.com. Okay. So that's the first thing you need to do. Now, everything in here is the same. This is like if you create in stateless, you save it. Then over here, you can go and do create. You notice this is the other one here. So this is where you put your IPv6 address. Okay. Let's see what we need to do here. I think this is right. Okay, so local name, whatever you want to call it. Stateful. Full. Save it. Full, then you need to prefix. Then you need to go to the local pool. One. This is a local pool. You put, what do we call that? 2001 with the prefix 64. The prefix here is, I think, 64 again. Save it. Ooh, input. Oh, need to put 2001. Okay. Let's see. This is going to make a difference now. Now, if we minimize this guy here. First of all, we need to make sure the service is on. Let's see. If you go over here, you go to this. Now, because it's on the server, it's not on the router, so I need to put DHCP right here. Didn't work. Why is that? Let's see. Oh. It didn't work because I don't have an address on this guy here. So we need an address on this one first, which is 2001 DB8, colon, let's put 2/64. Okay, let's see that gonna work. Get it, see. Okay, so that's good. Let's see if that's gonna work. So we got IP config. What happened here? I thought I'm clicking on the right one. Did I put on the, oh, I put them on this machine instead of the server. Okay, let's see. Copy and take this one out. This is DHCP, and we need to go to the server. That's where we need to put the IP address, paste it. This is 64. Okay, so now, still the DHCP is not working. Let's see. How about this one here? Same thing. Packet tracer is we must miss a step somewhere. Let's see. Services, DHCP6. We create a pool here. Let's see. Where is this? IPv6 on create a pool. Let's say. Yeah, it's right here. This is the pool. It's a stateful pool. And we have this one here. Why it's not working? Let's see. Let's start from top. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh. That's the pool. Why it's not working? Okay, so this is good. And we need to go to DHCP server, create a pool. IP, what is it? Delegation. Let's see. I cannot see it. Yeah, this is it. And edit this one here. So this is correct. the 2964, the pool. To call it, save it. Let's see. It's the right one. And we need to go to prefix. That's the prefix. Great prefix. Fix. Let's see what's the prefix supposed to be. 6, the prefix. Oh, that's not the prefix. IPv6 prefix. Is that right? The prefix? IP pool prefix 64. IPv6. IPv6. Oh, let's see what we're supposed to put here. This is supposed to be save. So now you go to prefix links to assign. Prefix link. It's supposed to have another screen here. Why can't I see it? Let's see. Pop, 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 pop. Need to go to prefix links assign. Prefix length. You see that prefix length? That's it. It's a prefix. This is local prefix length. And then edit it. Oh, this one edit. Okay, let's see. Let's see that's supposed to work. No. What I did different here? Let's see. Let's see what's I must miss something. Let's see here fast. So let's see what we did different here. It's prefix, same thing as the other one. It's a prefix. And over here we put the prefix links. Okay, so PV6. Create. Not create, I want to edit. Okay, we did that one too. And what is this? This one? Same thing. So the same thing in the other one. Let's see if let's see if we can get one now. Auto config is Okay, now we're getting one. Let's see. So you have to go back to static, and then this one, this is works. And this one is TCP is within one. So this is totally stateful because there's no routers involved in it. And this is stateless. Anyway, as you can see, it's not packet tracers. The way they do it is really different from Microsoft. But anyway, this is like some steps you have to follow in packet tracer. This is designed especially for packet tracer. I'm not going to ask you to do this stuff on the test because this is a lot of, but at least you need to do the IPv4 DHCP. Let's go back to PowerPoint. Any question at this point? And that's basically what they're talking about. The first step you need to do, enable IPv6 routing, configure the client router to create LLA and IPv6 link local address. It's already there by, it's there by default. And go to the client and configure to use Slack using IPv6 as an autoconfig. And show IPv6 interface brief to show you the addresses on the router. Let's see over here. Enable enable show. Let's see, chat. Show IPv6. Show IP interface brief. Okay, so I have only one interface, so that's what it shows right here. It shows actually two things. It shows the link local address for that interface of the router and the GUA, which is the global unicast address, which is this one here. So that's IPv6. You can create the pool in here if you want without. So the router will handle everything like we did earlier. But the only thing we forgot to mention here to put the address prefix. So it's the same thing as the not the same thing. It's a little bit different. So you have to go to DHCP IPv6 DHCP. Then you need to put the pool. Then you put the pool name. Then instead of saying network, we say address prefix, and you put the prefix for the address right here. And /64. And if you want, you can put the actually the address we're supposed to just put colon colon. You don't need the 9. It's basically you put in the network address. So, but still work. I mean, it's still you can ping between the client, as you can see over here. Yep. Okay, so any question about this one here? Okay, let's see what else we're involved in here. I think this is it. Okay, DSP v6 router provides stateless or stateful DSP services. So you can put either way in here. On the router interface, acquired IPv6 configuration from, we already tested this one. Now, on here, you have to do DHCP v6 relay. This is the same thing as IP helper address. So we have to put IPv6. Let's see if that works on the router. So if I go right here and I go to config T, I say interface. You have to be on the interface. Interface gigabit 0/0. Oops. 0/0. Then you need to put IPv6 question mark. IPv6. Authentication, DHCP. Well, this is a little different. You see, if you put IP question mark, you get the helper address right here if you're using IPv4. So if I'm using IPv6 and I put the question mark, what I'm getting? Yeah, I still get it's get helper address. Let's see. Helper address, yeah, I guess not. Helper. You're not getting the helper address. IPv6 incomplete command. Oh, what did I do? Okay. IPv6 question mark. So how you want to point it to enable IPv6 interface, GRP, DHCP, interface command, authentication, address, access list. Yeah, I guess I need to see how this is done. This is different from IPv4. Router provide DHCP forwarding service when the client and server are located on different. That's done options. Okay, let's see. Maybe I need to put IPv6. IPv6 DHCP question mark. Oh, okay, so this is like let's see. So client acts as a client, acts as a server. I don't know. I need to search how you do that version on IPv6, like the IP helper address. If the server is on a different subnet, let's see, client. Let's see if we say client. Question mark, prefix delegation. Okay, so 2000 space /64. Oh, 64. Client. Oh, we have to say prefix. Prefix. No. Prefix. No, this is, we need to see why. Nope. I need to see what's the command for this one here. It's not showing. Okay, I'm gonna get back on you. Back to you on this one here. So let's see. I wanna. DHCP V6 relay agent. Maybe that's what it is. Let's see. See. IPv6, DHCP. Come on. Yeah, this is like a client or server. Let's see what happens if you put server. Question mark. Yeah, this is if you want to put the pool. Yeah. But I don't know how to create the clients. I need to check on that. The server is easy, but the client is, I need to get the syntax for it. Okay, so for test tomorrow. For test tomorrow, we need to do basically configure two scenarios. You can have maybe two routers. Let's see. Doesn't have to be two routers. Let's see. Yeah. We might have something like this guy here. Let's see. Boom. Let's see. Create this one here. Two. And we might have two subnets. One here and one here. And so this is connected to this guy here with gigabit. This is with gigabit 2, whatever you want to name it. Okay, so what you do is you need to put, you need to configure a DHCP server. You put it in one. You need to put them in one subnet. Let's say this is LAN 1. This is LAN 2. Just like we did on the lab before. So you need to create DHCP server pool for all the clients in here. And another pool for this. And since this server is on this LAN right here, so you need to do the IP helper address on this to get the DHCP server on this side. So, let's see. Really quick. So that's what your test is gonna be look like. Okay. You're gonna have a LAN like this, and you do DHCP for like we're using the IPv4 DHCP on this router. You need to configure IPv4 DHCP on this router to support all this LAN right here. And on this side, you create DHCP a pool for this LAN and for this LAN. And then on this interface, you need to allow the clients in here to access the DHCP server in here. And that's what you use the IP helper address. So let's see if we have time. Yeah, we have time. Let's see. Let's do this first. I need to go to server this desktop. You need to make sure you put the static address first. So it's a 192, 168.50.110. and 192.168.50.1. And you need to go to services. Make sure you put it on first. You put the default gateway 192.168.50.1. DNS server at this point. You can, whatever instruction they tell you to do, you put it in there. Now, the start IP address is very important. So you follow the instruction. Basically, if I tell you leave the first 20 address, so you start with 21. Same subnet mask is not changed, and you save it. Oh, whoa, my fault. 4.4. Then you save this one here. Okay. You don't need the gateway at this point to test it. So at least you can test this part right here. So you need to make sure you get in the DHCP server. And we are, so it's working fine. Then you need to create another pool. We're gonna call it LAN 2 pool. LAN 2 pool is the same thing, but we need to put 20 instead of 50. Okay, we're gonna use a different 8.8.8. Put 20 here. And you add and you save it. But now those guys, they're not gonna get any IP address because you need to configure it first. So what you need to do is you need to go to you need to configure this address on this interface. So you go click. Let's say no. Enable config T. Interface config T interface gigabit 0/0. Now this is a gigabit 0/2. Okay, gigabit 0/2. And you say IP address 192.168.50.1. 255.255.0, no shutdown. So this interface is up. Now we need to go to the other interface. Interface gigabit 0/0 and IP address 192.168.20.1 255.255.255.0. No shutdown. Okay, so now what you need to do for these guys to communicate with DHCP server here, you're gonna put IP helper address, and you need to point it to the DHCP server. And this DHCP server address is on 192.168.50.10, I believe, right? Well, let's double check what the IP address of this guy here. Yeah, that 50.10. So 50.10, you hit enter, and you save it. Now those guys gonna get the IP address from LAN 2 pool. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, takes time, I guess. Here we go. So we get in the right address. So that's what you need to do in the test. Now on this part right here, you need to configure pool for this address. Let's say this pool is 192.168.2.0/24. Then you need to make this router as a DHCP server for These guys right here. Okay. Any question at this point? No questions? So, that's about chapter 8. Let's see. We need to do question. Okay. So let's see. What's the next one? Chapter 9 talks about FHRP. This is a good topic to talk about. So let's see. Module 10. Okay, so the next two topics is very important. So we need to get that test. Tomorrow is what?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tomorrow, I think I can do a little bit about DHP 6 router configuration because we didn't get it right this time. So I'm gonna research it and we'll do a lab on that. And Friday, you take a test. Sounds good?
Are we gonna have a skills test Friday along with like a paper test, or
Yeah, you're gonna have an online test and the skill.
okay?
The skill test is gonna be based on what we talked about it now. On the let me see. This IPv4, not IPv6. So you need to create on the router. You need to configure it as DHCP server with IPv4 for this LAN right here, and you need to create DHCP server pool or pools for two LANs, LAN 1 and LAN 2. And you need to configure this interface to allow to communicate with the DHCP server. And maybe you need to make those to communicate with each other. So you can create some kind of default route this way and default route that way. You follow?
Okay. Now, does that mean that one test is tomorrow, and which one, and or both of them on Friday?
No, the test is Friday.
Okay.
Both tests are Friday.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm gonna do more IPv6 DHCPs.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, so just to make sure we know all aspect of DHCP v6. So I'm gonna see that why the I'm looking for the version of IP helper address on IPv6.
Okay.
So we'll do some more hands-on IPv6 tomorrow. And we might start chapter 9, okay? And Friday you'll take your test. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
I sent you a private message, Mr. Charif, as well.
I'm sorry?
I sent you a private chat message as well. Just a moment ago, so I don't know if you can check that for me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Let's see. I'm gonna upload the slides on the files folder. After we finish this one here, I can do that. All right. Have a good day, whatever left for the day, and we'll talk tomorrow. Bye.